It is funny to me sometimes the things folks use to judge the effectiveness of a preacher. I have heard folks say about a preacher, man, he's really good. He doesn't take one note into the pulpit. He just gets up there and preaches the word. As one who is a writer and a preparer and brings several pages up here with me, I used to worry that maybe that meant my preaching was not as spirit-filled as it ought to be, but after listening for years to rambling preachers who had no notes, I realized the Spirit can and does reside in preparation and in notes. Another characteristic of preaching I have heard applauded as a sign of effectiveness is sweat. A really good preacher sweats. So much so he needs a rag with it when he gets up here. Did you grow up with preachers like that? How many did? Now, I guess I sweat sometimes when I preach, but not in places you would want me to wipe with a rag right away. Growing up, I recall sweating preachers, and oftentimes when the sweat would pour out the most when they were talking about the subject we focus on this morning. The world as we know it is coming to an end. Does that statement make you sweat?
Yeah.
As many of you know, I grew up as a Baptist, and it seemed like a frequent topic of sermons I heard was the second coming of Jesus. I recall feeling frightened of that day, wondering how it would happen. Would I be separated from my family? Would I get to go? And being one who's not all that crazy about heights, what would it be like to be swept up into the air? The logistics of the whole second coming of Jesus can be troublesome to a 10-year-old mind. I remember the hard punchline in those second coming sermons was always the question, are you ready? If he comes tonight, are you ready? If he comes in the morning, are you ready? When the trumpet of the Lord shall sound and time shall be no more, are you ready? The message of those sermons was always, if you're not ready, you will be left behind to certain torment and destruction. And those sermons would make you sweat. Somewhere along the line, in many respectable churches, those make you sweat messages were no longer heard. In fact, some preachers have just chosen to bypass these kinds of scriptures, what scholars call apocalyptic literature, meaning they're about the end times. Some of us in church leadership became uncomfortable with what we saw as scare tactics being used to draw people to faith in God, and we didn't believe Jesus to be one who would manipulate people with fear. And so in some places we just avoided these end-time passages. Too often we related these passages to some fire-breathing